Welcome back to another episode of the Premium Perspective. I'm Serena, and today I have with me Erika Shiri-Watso with Austin Child Guidance Center. Erika, thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And you said that great.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I always get scared to butcher people's names. I'm like, no. Okay. So I wanted to just get started with basically your background and how you got into working at Austin Child Guidance Center.
Yeah. So I've actually been in the nonprofit space for, gosh, I would say 8 years now. So it's like a really big highlight of my career has been in nonprofit. I've worked in children and family services before, and so prior to this, I worked in the foster care space. And so, yeah, kids and family have always been really near and dear to my heart. And so I was drawn to Austin Child Guidance Center through a shared value and their mission that they really cared for the kids in the community and wanted to see them thrive. And so I am the development manager. And so basically what that means is I'm part of a larger team, our development team, that really just focuses in on how we can bring different streams of revenue for the organization to ensure that we continue to exist for the community. Funds are a really big part of a nonprofit, right? And so we need to make sure that we are able to fundraise and that we're able to sustain our services. And so I'm part of a team that does that.
Yeah. What do you think is the most helpful when you're fundraising and you're out there that usually gets people to want to help out Austin Child Guidance Center?
Yeah, I think relatability. I think when you're able to share stories where people can really see themselves in it, right? I think something like mental health is really relatable. I think we're at a time where the stigma around seeking mental health or having issues with your mental health is, slowly starting to uncover a lot of just a lot of things that we never used to talk about. And so I think that sharing some of those stories a lot of people are just going to relate. A lot of people are just going to be like, I see myself in these people that you guys are serving. I see my kids in the people that you're serving.
Yeah.
I've experienced or have walked through something similar. And so I think relating that to, our donors, our supporters, really helps them understand that this is a need. And gives them the opportunity to step in and really help support those in the community that otherwise wouldn't have received these types of services.
No, for sure. Something that you said too is now it's kind of weird. It's almost like a trend that mental health is so popular now, and so a lot of people are talking about it. And it's funny because I go to therapy, and one day I was telling my grandma, and she's so old school, their generation didn't believe in any of those things.
Totally.
And so she was like, she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm on my way to therapy. And she was like, oh, brother. Yeah, but it's so crazy because now, do you think you see more of the older generation kind of I guess becoming more aware of it now too?
I think times are definitely changing. I feel the same way. I feel like whenever I talk to my mom, I almost if I'm on my way to therapy or something kind of I've had a revelation or something, when I share it with an older, somebody from the older generation, like my aunt or my mom or something, I tend to filter what I say because I'm I don't want to get judged for seeking new services or they're probably going to think I'm so dramatic or just because that's that was the language that we grew up around.
Yeah,
right?
No, same here.
So, I do think that, I think there's a shift. I think the more that we get comfortable with ourselves, the more that we get comfortable with accepting who we are and how we got here, the more honest we can be with our older people in our lives who maybe maybe see this still as not something, it's just unknown to them. And so I think the more that we just kind of confront those things with them and get comfortable with being uncomfortable and having those conversations and just being I go to therapy, or I found this out in therapy, or I, you know what I mean? The more that we just have conversations around that. I think the more that they hop on board, because I think that they're seeing is people that are really self-aware, people that like really want to be better and change and grow. And I don't think that that's negative. Like, I don't think they look at that and say like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. I think they look at that and they're like, wow, like this is like a different version of yourself.
Yeah, like I want that too.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, yeah, I do think I do think it's shifting, and it's also like it's also really evident in the fact that a lot of the population that we serve is going to be children, right? And so the parents are the ones having to like bring them in, or even their caretakers, which sometimes happen to be grandparents, or people that are like older, maybe not in their like 30s, 40s, but even older than that, and they're still seeking these services. So I think that has something that, it shows that like these types of things are important, and they're seeing the value.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was going to ask that too. Like, do you see, I guess, like, are there ever any parents that go and they take their kid, but they aren't getting services for themselves, and then they're like, okay, like, I need this too?
Yeah, I think it starts with the child.
Yeah.
I think if it's like if they're coming in for a behavior or something tragic has happened, or they're trying to navigate a crisis in the family, it usually start with the child. But we do provide whole family services. So like, it's really important that we also give these parents tools to make sure that when they go home, they know how to have the conversation. They know kind of how to walk their kid through whatever it is that they're going through. And it does a lot of time require the parents to sit in on sessions, right? And that does require maybe like the whole family, like if it's like a whole family unit kind of navigating something, we definitely advocate for the whole family to receive services, because it really changes the dynamic when you support the adults who are having to then support that child, right? Because like you can give therapy to a child, and that can only go so far, but you really, ideally, like you want to train and equip the adults in their life who are going to be guiding them. And so the whole family unit like is really important. Like this, it takes a village, right? Like it really does take a village when you're walking through some difficult times, or like some behaviors that like really need to be adjusted, or like it takes a lot of, it takes people in their lives to like know what they're doing, not just that one therapist that they see once a week. Although one consistent therapist, one consistent adult in their life does make a huge change. I've seen that. But I think it's best when like the whole family is kind of involved in the healing of this child.
No, for sure. Really quick, I realized that we probably didn't tell the viewers what Austin Child Guidance Center is. And so can you just real quick, just dive deep on what you guys do and the services y'all provide?
Yeah, of course. So Austin Child Guidance Center is we're a local nonprofit here in Austin, and we provide mental health services to families, to kids and their families in the area. Huge emphasis for us is on accessibility, for mental health services. So like we make sure that we provide those services that are either at low cost or completely free to the family, depending on their financial situation. But yeah, we've been around for almost 75 years. So we've been in the community for a really long time. And we provide all kinds of different therapeutic modalities for any type of crises that the family might be finding themselves in.
What do you think right now, like the age group that you guys are seeing the most of right now? Like, why do you think that is?
Oh, age group. So we generally see in like 0 to 18. And I know 0 sounds like kind of funny. Like we're not doing therapy to newborns, but we do have a program where we serve teenage parents. Or teenage parents that are pregnant, like in the process of having a baby. And so that's where that like 0 comes in. But I would say probably like 8 is like an average number, like year, like around 8 years old. 8 years old. And I would say your question is to like why. I think that can be like a multitude of situations, but I do think that kids nowadays are dealing with a lot more pressures than than they were prior.
Yeah.
I think we have things like the pandemic that happened, right? We have social media.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big one.
Yeah. Huge influence in kids' lives, huge pressure. I think there's also things like school pressure that exist, right? These kids are having to produce really high quality work at a really young age and are really pressured into it and trying to get into these elite colleges and things that, like, I would say, at least when I was growing up, I didn't really like. I didn't have social media like in elementary school. I didn't have.
No,
these,
same
like,
here. So it's like,
pressures.
so I can only imagine how it is now. I'm like,
Right.
oh my gosh, because I did have social media when I was in high school, and that was kind of tough.
Right.
But I can only imagine like the younger you are, how that plays into it.
Yeah, and those couple of years make a huge difference. Like
No, for sure.
like you think about your brain in elementary school, and you think about like high school. Like there's such an age gap, and it makes like such a huge difference when you've like had social media like in your face from like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old, you know, like your friends have it, your friends have phones now. So even if you don't have it, like you have accessibility to it. Like it's kind of like in your face.
Yeah, my son is he's at 9 right now. And so he's in 3rd grade, and some of his friends are getting phones, and I'm still like, no, because I see him and he's so innocent. And I'm like, no, like I do not want you to. But his friends know about things that sometimes I'm like, I don't think I should know about that yet. Just even like shows that their parents watch and stuff. And so I'm like, man, like I think about that. And then just even myself, like when I'm on my phone in front of my kids, and sometimes I might be doing like something work related on my phone, and then they're like, mom, like get off your phone. So I can imagine like people that are really like addicted to that, like parents. And then like as a child, you feel like neglected because of cell phones and technology.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother thing, right? Like we now, our generation, like now we're raising kids, and we have to be really careful about our usage around them, and like set some guardrails at least around like, you know, if this is what I want for you, then I need to do that for myself as well, right? Like if I'm going to limit your social media usage, then I should probably model that as well. Yeah, it also, I think when it's put in their face like that, it eliminates the opportunity for parents to have conversations first with the kids about certain things that are going on in the world, or, you know, whatever the topic may be. I think it, like, it's harder to get in front of now. Like I think before, you can kind of anticipate something happening or something coming up, and you can maybe have a conversation with your kids if that's something that you're wanting to do, versus now these kids are finding out firsthand, right? And so then you're having to deal with the effects after. And so that can be really difficult to navigate as a parent.
You're like, how do I explain?
Like they've already been exposed to whatever it is.
It's like it didn't come from me first.
And so that kind of like that steals from you as a parent. And so knowing how to navigate a conversation around something that they've already been exposed to at school, which is very likely it's going to happen. It's in our faces. Like we can't run away from it. And so it just is, it's tricky.
So how has the Austin community shown up for Austin Child Guidance Center? Like how have you seen that and have as a community? I mean, you guys have been around for so long, so I would assume that it's been very helpful and a lot of things like that. Now in 2025, like what are you seeing more of, and like what do y'all need more of?
Great question. I think so. We've been around, you know, in Austin for a really long time, and that doesn't happen just on our own, right? We need the support of our community partners, companies, individuals that really get behind what we're doing and support us. And I think like a really great highlight would be like Heaton and Bennett, for example. Like you guys have provided consistent financial support, right? Which is important. You guys have sent over volunteers, different volunteer opportunities that we have, which is also good. And then we have like a cross promotion between Heaton and Bennett and Austin Child Guidance Center. And that just brings awareness to a completely different population that we wouldn't have access to. So we're like a really small team, and so we can't do it all. We can't be out in the community every single day. We can't be promoting our services, you know, everywhere.
You have to have people doing it for you sometimes.
We really depend on companies like Heaton and Bennett, like what you guys do, to put the word out and let people know that we exist. And so partnerships like that are really important. And the more that we can get these types of partnerships in the community, the better we are set up as an agency to, one, you know, let people know that we exist as a resource, but also building awareness around mental health.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like what we're needing most.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret, right? We're a nonprofit, and so funding is kind of like the number one thing. We, like I mentioned, like accessibility is a really, really huge priority for us. Like we want to make sure that these services aren't felt like a luxury, like they're like something really accessible to families.
Yeah.
And if you have been to therapy before, if you have even tried to go to therapy, you'll know that there's like a lot of barriers to it. Like it's finding the right person, maybe finding somebody that takes your insurance, maybe like finding somebody that fits within your schedule, if it's virtual, if it's in person, whatever like you're needing. It can be really like discouraging when you go and find and seek support. And so we don't want that to happen. And so what we do is we provide services that are on a sliding scale, which means depending on the family's financial situation, they'll either receive services at a really low cost from us or for free. And so there's that portion of it. We also provide services in both English and Spanish. So we do have bilingual therapists that give, that provide like full therapy sessions in both languages, which is super awesome.
Now I was going to say that's amazing.
Yeah, super awesome. And then we do virtual as well as in person. Now, obviously, with littles, virtual is not the best option. We did have to move to virtual because of the pandemic, like a lot of other companies or like therapy services. But
are y'all kind of backing away from that now a little bit?
We're not backing away. It's still an option. You know, we want to be flexible and we want to make sure that we exist for what the family needs. It's still an option. It's just, I think most even parents would prefer to come in person, just because a lot of the younger kids, the type of therapy that they're requiring is like play therapy. That's how they process, that's how they communicate. And that really requires like in-person connection.
Yeah, because if you're looking at a screen, like trying to play,
and you're like 5 years old, like, that's just not really.
Even for an adult, I'm like, I can't look at this like, for so long. Yeah,
like as an adult, I'm like, okay, it's been an hour, like I'm. You know? And so, and not to mention that like our work probably requires us to be on the computer.
Yeah, already. Yeah.
So, so yeah, we're not moving away from it. It's still something that is available because we want to make sure that we're flexible with whatever the family needs. But it just so happens that we find that a lot of parents would rather bring their littles into the office. So, so we offer the virtual services or in person as well. And so all of that combined, like it really connects us to, or really like helps us drive the needle to being more accessible so that these things aren't an issue for the family. Oh, and we do take insurance, which is another one. It's a huge deal to be a mental health facility that takes insurances, because not all of them. Like a lot of therapists, like private therapists, will not take insurance.
Yeah, they just, it's kind of hard to deal with, and I understand, but it's like
there's a lot of reasons behind that, but that's a barrier. Like if families can't afford it, or if they can't use their benefits, and so all of that means that like we as an agency take up the cost of the difference, right? So whatever it takes to actually have a therapy service, we take whatever the family can pay either through insurance or through that sliding fee scale, and then we cover the gap as an agency. And so that's where the money goes, right? It's that gap. And so in order for us to continue to provide those services at such a low cost, we need to be able to make that up somehow. And so having different streams of revenues, whether it's through grants, through corporate partnerships, through community partnerships, and whatever that looks like, is really important for us. And so that's like our number one need always, because we want to remain in the community. We want to remain accessible. And it's important for us that we keep serving, the population that we do. And so that's only possible if like the agency is able to take up the gap of what the cost is.
Do you guys want to like expand as well? Is that like something that's being talked about like in the future, or like?
Yeah. So we have our main location here in Austin, right? And it's a facility that we've had since day one.
Yeah.
So um, we do we do want to expand, and we are actually expanding, but not in the way that maybe we're not like opening a center anywhere else. What we are looking into and doing is doing partnerships that will allow us to maybe provide services at like child care centers outside of Austin.
Okay, yeah.
Different office locations, like for example, if Heaton Bennett had an office in Buda, then we could go and have a therapist meet with a family that lives in Buda.
Oh, okay. So the therapist will like drive out there.
Yeah. So and basically the reason why we're doing that is because we've seen the landscape of Austin really change over the last couple of years. I mean, if you've been in Austin for any amount of time, you can understand, and you've seen that the cost of living in here proper Austin is gone outrageous.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the families that we typically would have served that lived here in Austin
have moved out. Wow.
they don't
Yeah.
live here.
Okay.
And so for us, we're like, okay, instead of seeing that as a barrier, that's like an opportunity to expand our reach. So how do we get to families that don't live in Austin anymore, but still really, really need these services because the cities, the counties nearby really lack resources.
Yeah.
And so that's like one way that we kind of have stepped in and figured out, to some degree, how we can get our therapists to be mobile and to like go to them. And so we're not expanding in the way that we're not expanding like getting
another building. Yeah.
But we are always looking at ways of how we can partner with the community to provide services and bring them a little bit closer to families that live further away, because the commute, it's just unrealistic to ask a family that lives in Georgetown to come to therapy at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
in Austin, right?
Yeah, that's like traffic, like all the things.
It's unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it again, it creates the barriers. So for us, it's like, how do we make this more accessible? How do we take away the barriers?
Yeah.
And so that's really important for us. So as we continue to grow, I think that's what we have in mind.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't think about that. Like, just the way that Austin's changed makes it so much harder to get to who your initial clients are.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And yeah, we don't want parents to be like drawn away from getting services, or, move out of the area and then like suddenly they don't have access to anything, and so they don't get support. Like that's what we don't want to happen. And we understand we're one agency and we're limited in what our capacity could actually be, but if we can be flexible in that way and meet the families where we're at, then I think we're fulfilling our mission.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I want to know, like, what does a typical day look like for this children and the staff at Austin Child Guidance Center, kind of some of the things that y'all have to offer there?
Yeah. So we actually have a hybrid work model. And so lots of flexibility, which I personally love and I really appreciate. But the flexibility really allows you to kind of show up as your best self when you're not when you're ready. Like we can pick and choose exactly when, but kind of there's less of pressure to
you get a little refreshed. I know what you mean.
Totally. Like it's a refresh, and then you kind of show up as your best self because you're like, oh, I want to be here, like and so the hybrid work model really means that like you'll see different staff members at the office any given day, right? Because we kind of create our schedule around what our needs are that week, or what the family's needs are specifically for like our therapists.
Yeah.
And when they have clients and things of that sort. And so you'll really see an array of different staff. Like there's not the same staff every day when you go, so it's all going to look different every day. But what I will say is that every staff member that you walk into at our agency is really, really passionate about what they're doing. Is really passionate about the work that they do, and they're really here to help support the families. And that's like something that is really obvious when you walk in through the front doors. I think that you can see that in all of our staff. And so I think the culture really around how do we exist to support families
Yeah.
is like is kind of what really draws our day to day. Like it really motivates our day to day. But in terms of services, I mean, you'll see, I mentioned a little bit earlier, but it just kind of depends on what the family is needing and the age range of the child. So if we're seeing a child that is like between 6 and under, you're going to see a lot of play therapy in the therapy rooms. You're going to see with the older children, we do, they require sometimes a little bit more movement.
Yeah.
And so instead of being like,
Confined
sat
in a
down on a
room.
couch
Yeah.
and so they'll do like a walk and talk therapy session outside. So we do have a space in our facility. We call it the Healing Garden.
So beautiful.
And it's a really gorgeous space.
Yeah.
And being out in nature, getting fresh air, like all those things are really, really beneficial to your mental health.
Yeah.
Right? They seem really small and maybe insignificant to some, but it's a way for us to slow down. It's a way for us to be connected. It's a way for us to appreciate, the little things that we do have in life. And so, walking them and having a session outside when weather permits, like our therapists really like doing that, or maybe even playing basketball with them. We have like a little basketball court.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so those are different ways that you'll see therapists interact with clients on any day to day.
No, that sounds amazing. I feel like even I as an adult like need that. I would love to go on a walk and like talk about my life to my therapist.
That sounds so nice, especially when the weather is good. It's like, I just want to be outside and like and then you see
scientifically too, I think like when you're outside it like releases that like what's it, dopamine, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, maybe like oxytocin or
dopamine. Oh yeah, one of those.
Something like that, something positive, basically.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing is, it's something that like just creates, a sense of grounding, a sense of like, just breathing like fresh air. I think is so underrated. Like we're indoors so
all the time,
especially kids, like from classroom to classroom, and then they go home.
And then their parents might be tired, and it's like, I mean, that's good for them to be outside.
I mean, parents, we have 2-income households now, right? It's not like it was before. So parents work.
Yeah.
And parents get tired too, and they get home and they want to relax too. And so, a lot of, I think kids just naturally.
They want to be outside.
Yeah, they want to be outside, but maybe they like have grown in an environment where that's not really like a thing. That's not been part of their routine, and it's not any, it's not like a negative on the families themselves. It's just kind of what happens. It's like the trend that like, that's just what's occurred. Right?
Yeah.
We're outside less. And so I think that does impact our mental health for sure. And so having a space where we can bring kids outside and have them talk and express their feelings or, kind of walk through whatever it is that they're going through. I think it's like really beneficial.
Yeah. Going into the Healing Garden. So like, I know a couple of us have gone and we get to go and just like make it nice and stuff. So I wanted to kind of just wrap up with like volunteering, how people on the outside can go and help and different things that they can do at the center.
Yeah. So we have a pretty amazing volunteering like program in terms of like our team internally, like has like a really cool system going already for this, which is great. Our Healing Garden always requires a lot of work, like in order to keep it beautiful and to keep it with the season, because we do like grow different. We have staff members that will grow different like vegetables,
like the seasonal
herbs,
ones and stuff. Oh, that's
seasonal.
awesome.
And so all of that requires upkeep. And, we, again, are a small team. Like, it's not like we have all this time to go outside and like make it beautiful because we have, our own things that we're working on. And so the Healing Garden volunteering really keeps this space beautiful for us.
Yeah.
And not just for the agency, but essentially for the kids that are going to be using it. And so you can sign up on our website and inquire about volunteering, and you can bring a group in. We've had companies or community partners come in, and it's like 5 people. We've had them, it's like 15 people. Like it kind of just depends on, the size of the group. And then we would essentially customize a day of how many hours, like if you wanted to come in for an hour or 2 hours, and then we would arrange for you to come in, and we'd provide all the tools necessary to kind of clean up the space and make it look beautiful. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool program. It's a really great way to get your hands dirty, to support, the space that a lot of our clients are using.
Yeah.
So that's like a way that you can get involved. We also have different volunteer opportunities throughout the year that kind of just come up. I know we have the Austin Marathon, for example, or we have different like thankathons where you can help us like write thank you letters to people who have donated.
That one was fun.
Campaign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's little ways like that really do like go a long way, because when you are taking a task that would take a staff member 8 hours of their day to do, you're really opening them up to be able to do the work that they were hired to do.
Yeah.
And that's important. Like we want the focus of what we do to be
on the kiddos
mission and like to like keep the place basically running, right? And so any little support like that, oh my gosh, it means so much to me. It means so much to our team. So there's different ways that you can there's different opportunities throughout the year that you can help in that way.
Yeah.
And again, you would just go online and fill out our like contact us form. We also, if you subscribe to our newsletter through our website, or if you follow us on social media, we'll post different opportunities like, hey, this event is coming up, sign up, sign up to attend or sign up to fundraise. Also, I think like another plug for like how people can support is like, invite us to speak, like invite us to your luncheon, invite us to your event, like let us come into your space, whatever that may be, and bring awareness to the fact that one, we exist, we've been around for a really long time, but also the work that we're doing, the trends in mental health, how you can help support, and so things like that would be really helpful. Like one referral goes such a long way. So like if you're like, oh, I know somebody who probably, I know this company who's looking to volunteer, or I know this company who probably would really align with your mission, like any referral, like it just really, really helps us.
Yeah.
And then like reposting what we post a lot of mental health stats, especially during May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Okay, that's good to know. Coming up.
It's coming up. There's going to be a lot of different ways that you can help us. We'll have different types of campaigns that you can, be a part of, that you can support, but even like reposting something on your social media.
It goes a long way.
On your LinkedIn, whatever it is. Yeah, it does go a long way.
Do y'all have any events coming up in May?
We do have we're actually doing a board reunion. So, with an organization that has been around a really long time, we've had like an incredibly robust board over the years, and our board members have been essential for like the existence of the organization. And so we want, because we're like getting to our 75th anniversary, like we want to honor those individuals who have really like
helped establish and be part of
they've really helped
the walk,
help sustain ACGC throughout its like all the changing landscape of the years in Austin in particular. But so we're hosting that, so it's a little bit more private for like our previous board members. But it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so I would just say stay tuned. We're working on a couple partnerships and things, different campaigns for the month. But if you follow us, you'll get like first updates on
awesome.
what those are.
Well, that's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I just want to let y'all know that we do, for every referral every time you refer someone to Heaton Bennett Insurance, we do donate $10 to Austin Child Guidance Center. So referral. And thank you so much for coming and just sharing the story.
Thank you so much for having us. We are so grateful for Heaton Bennett and the partnership that we have. And we really couldn't exist like without partners like you. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.